Akira Toriyama, born April 5, 1955, Kyosu, Aichi Prefecture, Japan. Japanese author, illustrator, game designer. Akira Toriyama is one of Japan's most celebrated manga artists and writers. His stories, which primarily appeal to children, usually spotlight classic struggles between good and evil. His characters are classic heroes and villains, with no middle ground between them, and are endowed with tremendous superpowers. Additionally, Toriyama places his characters in expertly devised fantasy worlds, with storylines that blend action and comedy. Toriyama's artwork is appealingly goofy and exaggerated, and is characterized by crisp, clean lines and a strong design style. His male characters are generally small, but are muscular and resilient. His female characters are cute and charming. In reviewing the 2005 release of Dr. Slump, Volume 1 on the Comics Reporter website, Tom Spurgeon observed that most of the charm of the series bubbles up from Toriyama's art. The large heads atop squat, solid bodies, rounded lines, communicating a happy-to-be-right-here vibrancy broken only, occasionally by exaggeration of expression or motion. Everything is adorable, and everything is sort of dependable, if that makes sense. An attraction to drawing. Toriyama was having an interest in art dates from his early childhood. "I've always liked to draw," he explained in an interview on the Stormpages website. "When I was little, we didn't have many forms of entertainment like we do today. So we were all drawing pictures. In elementary school, we were all drawing manga or animation characters, and showing them to each other. I have always drawn my manga with the desire to create something unique to comics, something that can only be expressed in the form of comics." Unlike other children, for whom art is a temporary pastime, Toriyama found that he loved creating images on paper. He began drawing portraits of schoolmates, and attended a neighborhood drawing class. His favorite animated television program was Tetsuan Atom, known in English as Astro Boy, which was popular among Japanese youngsters during the early 1960s. And he was fascinated with horror films, action-adventure television shows, and various Walt Disney animated features. In his drawing class, he earned a prize for copying images from one of his favorite childhood films, Disney's 101 Dalmatians, released in 1961. Early manga. Toriyama studied graphic design at the Prefectural Industrial High School, and began his career working for a graphic design company. Initially, he resented having to sketch and re-sketch everyday objects, as per the order of his superiors. "Uggish, why do I have to draw 100 pairs of socks?" I would complain. He recalled, in an interview on the Boo's Dragon Ball Pages website. "In retrospect, those things may have helped me." Best known works: Dragon Ball 16 vols. 2000, Dragon Ball Z 23 vols. 2001, Sandland 2003, Dr. Slump 4 vols. 2005, Toriyama's Dragon Ball stories, though completed in Japan, are serialized in the English version of Shonen Jump. In 1977, Toriyama entered a contest for amateur artists sponsored by Shonen Jump, a weekly magazine put out by Shueisha, a major manga publisher. The story he submitted grabbed the attention of Kazuhiko Torishima, one of the editors, who hired him as a cartoonist. Previously, while in school or in his spare time, Toriyama only had sketched characters. Now, he began drawing manga with plotlines. Toriyama, meanwhile, acknowledged the advantages of inventing or creatively distorting objects, rather than attempting to duplicate reality. "I probably have the most fun thinking up original vehicles," he added. "I usually consider details such as how to get into them and where their engines are. When you draw a real-world car, you have to obtain some references. I'd hate to have someone point out that I'm wrong. But if it's something I invented, I can have it my way." My manga is in the slapstick style. So if the characters are caricatured humans, then it'd be strange for everything else not to be caricatured. As he creates his characters, Toriyama first envisions their personas. He matches the nature of their personalities first with faces, and then with body types. Once this is accomplished, he decides upon costumes that are appropriate for the environments they inhabit. If the characters are to be depicted in combat, he devises outfits that would be realistically comfortable while they battle their enemies. Toriyama's first great success was Dr. Slump, which debuted in 1980. Dr. Slump is the cheery, comic tale of Dr. Senbei Norimaki, whose name translates to Little Rice Cracker. A zany scientist who constructs a really even littler cracker. A robot that resembles a young adolescent girl. Rayleigh is a less than perfect creation. She is nearsighted and must wear glasses, but she also has superhuman strength. Originally, Dr. Slump was published in Shonen Jump, where it was serialized weekly for 5 years. It also was adapted into an animated television series, or anime. In 2005, Publishers Weekly described the series as Toriyama's Twisted Sesame Street, a slapstick romp with an endearingly oddball cast of characters. Toriyama has created his own demented sitcom, and his fantastic imagination and comic invention never let up. Simple ideas, a Rayleigh trying to rescue a bear from the zoo, Slump inventing a future camera, spin-off into unexpected comic directions. And Toriyama never stints on visual humor. Once Dr. Slump became an established hit in Japan, Toriyama began pondering the subject of his next Shonen Jump serial. He was a fan of actor and martial artist Jackie Chan's Jukuin Drunken Master, a 1978 feature film about a playfully bratty boy who learns discipline when his uncle, a kung fu master, teaches him the complex, drunken monkey, or drunken boxing, fighting style. Jukuin became the inspiration for Dragon Boy, a character who debuted in Shonen Jump in 1983. Dragon Boy was a precursor to Toriyama's most successful manga, and what became one of the most famous manga ever, Dragon Ball, which debuted in 1985. Dragon Ball is a fantasy adventure centering on Son Goku, a character based on the mythological Chinese Monkey King, a popular children's fable that is the model of the adventure story in which a hero sets out on a perilous mission. The tale details the struggle of Son Goku and his allies against the Saiyans, a dishonorable band who are racing across and destroying the universe and wishing to take over Earth. In order to stay alive, Son Goku and his pals must search for the 7 Dragon Balls. Anyone who holds them may conjure up a great dragon, who will grant any request.